Shalom to everyone. Archiving the history of the people of Israel, a significant improvement in Israel's tourism, and the very outgoing chief of police, a kindergarten cop. This and our weekly insight on this week's Israeli Salad, so stay tuned. We'll be starting in 22 seconds. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. The Torah, the Talmud, and the Halacha, the ancient Jewish works, have been preserved for centuries. But who will assure their preservation as the world is becoming more digitally oriented? A company in Israel is a leader in the field of archiving Jewish and Israeli documents on digital format. The Image Store Company, located in Petach Tikva, is a leading company in the field of electronic archiving. I visited Image Store to learn about the history of archiving and the unique variety of subjects that are archived in Israel.
When the world began, there was writing in stone. There were saving in writing all the documentation in stones. After this went to paper. During the years, a lot of this important documentation were destroyed, and the world came to a solution of microfilming the papers.
This is a 16mm microfilm. Each square is a document. Basically, if we put this strip on a light table, we'll be able to read the document by using a magnifying glass.
The microfilm format is considered problematic because the data is stored as an image and it is not interactive. Only in the 1990s did the field of electronic archiving develop as the technology of text recognition became available. In contrast to working with English documents, the Hebrew language gives programmers a hard time with electronic text recognition. In many cases, a spelling of a word isn't enough to understand its meaning, and you need to know the context and pronunciation to know which word it is. Even the Hebrew letters can be difficult to work with.
No language in the world have so many different writings or so many different fonts like Hebrew. You have the Rashi, you have all the kind of otiyot what doing the old generations.
Image Store was founded in 1991. And since then, the company has been taking an active part in preserving the history and heritage of the Jewish nation in the land of Israel. This preservation is done thoroughly and professionally.
We scanned hundreds of thousands of documents. We did a lot of projects together with the government. We did a lot of work of observation of the history of Israel.
In the first stage, staples, glue, or anything that might bother the scanning is taken out from the documents. The documents are prepared in a standard size to be inserted into the scanner.
The Jewish Library in Jerusalem, we did together with them, was one of the nicest projects when they find the ancient scrolls in the Dead Sea, and this to preserve this material, we were supposed to photograph them and then to scan them.
The problem with the old material is that you can't put it into a scanner that pulls the paper through because the paper could get ripped because it's so old. That's why what we do here is take a photo of each page on its own.
We have a new project with the Jewish agencies to preserve all the old maps of true Israel, of the real Israel. We had maps from them for over 200 years ago till today.
The maps are mostly old. Any touch can break the map into crumbs. We place the map on a platform, and the technique of scanning is by having two lamps create two beams of light that meet on the platform. Then together with the light, the document is scanned millimeter by millimeter. One of the advantages of the scanner is its resolution. It could reach 2,000 dots per inch.
Identification is completed.
Only authorized personnel can enter this department. The identification is done by an optical scan. Here we work on highly classified materials from sensitive clients.
Through dealing with such a variety of documents, Ephraim Reich and his employees learn a lot about the history of the people of Israel, and by looking at the antique maps, they can see the history of the Jewish communities throughout the land of Israel.
All the information that we have here, we're not allowed to give out. Or I could tell you something personally. This will be out for the public. They will see that all the Jewish state, all Medinat Israel, all even what we give back, this is belong for us.
You are watching Israeli Salad on Israel National TV.
We've lately been showing you groups of new immigrants who've come to open a new page of their lives in the land of Israel. But there are also many tourists who come here to visit, and I assume that many of our viewers are among these tourists. Well, all I have to say to all you tourists is Kol HaKavod. Well done. Mark joins us now from the newsroom with some good news regarding the status of tourism in Israel. Shalom, Mark.
Shalom, Yoni.
So, give us the numbers.
Well, Yoni, the rise in tourism in Israel continues. 673,900 tourists entered Israel in the first 6 months of 2004. That's a 66% increase from the same period last year. Around 170,000 came here from the U.S., 67,000 from Great Britain, 24,000 from Russia. I don't want to bore you with all the numbers, so I'll just sum it up by saying that the numbers show a dramatic increase in tourism. The Director General of the Tourism Ministry, Aaron Dom, says that these figures point to the success of the ministry's focused marketing efforts in many countries. Tourism Minister Gideon Ezra, he expresses satisfaction with the data and estimates that this year nearly 1.5 million tourists will visit Israel.
Well, thanks, Mark. You're welcome to join us each week with some good news.
Thanks for the invite, Yoni.
Please send your comments, ideas, and questions to the Israeli Salad email, yoni@israelnn.com, or leave a message on the Israeli Salad voicemail at international dialing code 972-3918-5554. That's 972-3918-5554.
Okay, now let's meet the kindergarten cops. Chief of Israel's police force, Shlomo Aharonishki, retired from service on August 1st. A few weeks before his retirement, we joined Aharonishki as he visited a local kindergarten in the city of Kiryat Ono. The children of this kindergarten were familiar with the world of police. After 38 years of service in Israel's police force, departing Inspector General Shlomo Aharonishki participated in many events in which he said farewell to the many departments of the Israeli police. One of these events was held by a very young group of citizens.
אנו מצדיעים למשטרת ישראל.
My Policeman and I is the name of a special project aimed at familiarizing kindergarten children with the work of the police. The project introduces children to the job of the policeman and their duties.
They visited the police station. They saw, some of the inner works of the police force.
I taught them traffic laws like fastening seatbelts, how to behave inside a car, how to behave outside a car. You're not allowed to cross the street without mom or dad.
And in the beginning I felt that it may be a little presumptuous to think that children can relate really to the inner works of the police and appreciate and understand what is going on. But as the project developed, I have to say that I came to appreciate that there was a real commitment on a part of the various ranks in the police force to work with children at their level.
The police is a part of the society. We are not intimidating nobody, and basically only 1% of the population is a criminal. The other 99% are good citizens, and they really need our help. and we try to give them as much as we can.
When I first arrived, all the children were focused on my handgun. That's what interested them. The cop that kills, that arrests, the scary character of the policeman.
And I think that at the end they have a good appreciation of what the police is about, and there's no longer any kind of fear. And I think it was structured in a way that would be appropriate for children.
The project not only lets the children learn about police work and feel more comfortable with the policemen, it has proven to assist the day-to-day police work.
One of the kids that was part of this project in Jerusalem learned in the project about suspicious objects. On his way home from kindergarten, he noticed a suspicious object and he told his parents about the object. It turned out that the object was actually a loaded handgun. The child received a certificate of appreciation from the head of the Jerusalem district. My daughter always asks me, "Mom, are you sure you're allowed to park here?" From this kindergarten, there will be no criminals. From all the farewell events I attended, this one warms my heart the most. This is an important combination. Children, parents, educators, and policemen. This is a winning combination, and with this combination, even the sky is no limit.
Now, as Shlomo Aronishki departs from his comrades, Israel's police force will surely continue to create a more disciplined society by educating Israeli citizens, literally, from their childhood.
One of the things that this commissioner really had got some achievement is the way that it took care of the community.
What is our role? To prepare and let these children grow up with a quality of life and security. There's a famous saying about the mother who tells her child, "If you don't eat this, I'll call the police." I want to see one of these mothers say that to her child. The kids will say, "I don't want to eat. I want policeman Shevis to come to our house." So be careful, parents. It could be that one of the kids wearing the hats here will one day be the chief of police.
And now, our weekly insight. On our weekly insight, we asked Rabbi Samson about the meaning of different precepts and Jewish concepts. We try to understand the reason of fulfilling the precepts. Shalom to Rabbi David Samson in Jerusalem.
Shalom Yoni, shalom to all of our viewers.
In the Torah there is an interesting concept of chukah, which means a mitzvah that you fulfill without understanding the reason. Chukah is how the Torah refers to the mitzvah of the red calf, which was observed in the time of the Holy Temple. What is the Torah trying to teach us by having a mitzvah with no clear reason?
Yoni, I'm glad that you asked me this question. And it's interesting because a lot of our viewers around the world will only do something which is intellectually viable. And they have to understand the entire Torah in intellectual terminology. And if something is not logical, then there's no reason to do it, which is usually a very good rule of thumb, doing things which are logical and refraining from things that are illogical. However, I think that here with this mitzvah, we learn something very, very deep. That even though all of the different precepts have their reasons, there's something deeper than just the reasons. And that even if the reason, for some reason, doesn't apply, the precept will still apply because there is a deeper reason than the rational understanding that is given. And that's why all of the reasons that we give, they're called ta'amim, which are kind of flavors, tastes. And they're not a different word that we use in Hebrew, a siba, which is a cause. So that even though we have different reasons, they're ways of understanding with reason the mitzvah, but they are not the necessary cause of the mitzvah. And the mitzvah stands objective of any intellectual understanding whatsoever, even though they can be fathomed by thought.
But wouldn't it be better to understand the actual reason for the mitzvot? What's the value of doing something without understanding the reason?
Regarding doing the mitzvot, without any understanding at all, there's such a deep value in that. However, the more you study Torah, the more you can understand the deeper reasons for all of the mitzvot. even though you can't reach the extreme abyss and depth of all of the mitzvot. Even though generally a person is supposed to understand what he's doing, if a person is willing to sacrifice his intellect, not doing something which is insane, but just doing something which is beyond his grasp, that is something which is showing that he agrees that there is a superior being with superior understanding, superior rules of thumb, and that by sacrificing his need for intellect, he's actually doing a mitzvah with a higher level of concentration and understanding than even by doing it because such and such a reason exists that he understands intellectually.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Samson.
The Weekly Insight is brought to you in cooperation with Machon Meir, the largest Zionist institute in Israel, bringing people closer to Judaism.
That's all for this week. Join us again next week for another program. Remember, the number of tourists can still increase. It's up to you. So until next time, from all of us at Israel National TV, Shalom.